Come on, 2, 3.
Well, good morning. Welcome back to the Broadcast Retirement Network. I'm Jeff Snyder. This is BRN Weekly for Saturday, January 8th, 2022. And our top story today, how to increase usage of Social Security's online tools. Today's segment is brought to you in partnership with Funding Our Future. And joining me now to discuss this and a lot more is Jean-Pierre Aubry of the Boston College Center for Retirement Research. JP, great to see you. Thanks so much for joining us on the program this morning.
Thank you. Happy to be here, Jeff. Happy New Year to you too.
Thank you so much. Let's talk. You and the center recently released a paper on online usage of Social Security tools. Tell us what you found.
Right. And so this research was sponsored by Social Security Administration, who was interested in understanding how their online tools are being used by retirees. Currently the data show that roughly half of retirees apply for benefits through the online SSA portal. But what our data showed was that only about 2/3 of that 50% claim completely online, meaning that they don't call up the field office, call up a field officer before applying to get a sense of what they might need, what paperwork they might need, or that they don't call or go to the office to actually apply online. I mean, you can go to a field office and apply online within a field office, right? So you're using kind of the field office and field officers, even though you're applying online. So the data was revealing in that sense, that it showed that fewer individuals actually claim without contacting SSA in some way, in person or by phone, than we believe prior.
And there are a lot of, just for the audience's benefit, there are a lot of robust tools. I know the SSA has worked, the Social Security Administration has worked real hard to create tools. And, I'm not of retirement age yet, but I've gone on the site and I know it's not a complex formula, but you have to figure out when you're going to retire, JP, and you need to understand what the ramifications of that are.
Right, and so you're right. This there's been kind of a multi-year effort by Social Security Administration and many other government institutions to improve service delivery to customers of the government. And this is the online tools have been part of that ongoing effort, and I think it's still ongoing. And this research is part of that, trying to kind of pause and take stock of what they've achieved and what they need to do going forward. And so, what we found additionally was that you wanted to allow people to access benefits in the way that they're most comfortable. That's the end game. It's not that everyone should be online or everyone should be in person, but you want to make sure that every individual can access their benefits. And so for those that want to do it online, you want to make that as easy as possible. And what we've learned is that there is just basic unawareness by many retirees about the online options that they have. And so we found that was a major obstacle to the use of online tools. They just didn't know they existed. And additionally, there were also many people that just prefer going in person, right? And so there's a certain portion of the population that will always kind of prefer in-person interaction. And there's also a certain portion of the population that has complicated situations that need to be dealt with in person. So online tools aren't a panacea, but with greater awareness, we do think that the percentage of retirees using online tools could increase to about 50%. And that would be good because you'd have more people who want to use online, able to use online, and the people that need to go in person be able to do that with probably less traffic in the field office as well, because more people are doing stuff online.
And I think when you talk about awareness, I mean, we're doing some of that now. I would imagine that the Social Security Administration will up its game, and I'm not saying it's a bad game at all. I think you do what you can do. Let me ask you this. I mean, as a result of this pandemic, a lot of us of all ages have really taken on the challenges of learning new technology. I know I FaceTime with my mom on a regular basis, and my dad, and in addition to my brother and other family members. But I have to imagine that as the technology usage of successor generation. So my generation, I'm a Gen Xer, Gen Y, Gen Z, you could see more and more usage of these tools online, such that it may not be necessary to have as much of a staff at some of these field offices.
And so, one of the two major obstacles we found to people using online tools was one, the notion that having complicated situations that need to be fleshed out in person, spousal benefits, I got divorced, those kind of things. And then just personal preference. I prefer to go in person. I'm not that comfortable with computers. For that second item, we did investigate kind of to what extent not demographic, but kind of cohorts, younger cohorts, as they get older, how that might affect the propensity to want online versus in person. And we do find that, unsurprisingly, that younger cohorts will be more likely to use online tools. And this is kind of, we interviewed people in May 2021. So COVID had been around at that point, and people had kind of become more comfortable with online tools. But it still suggested that only a small percentage increase in online tool usage based on cohort shifts, and that is going to only add 1 or 2 or 3 percentage points to the percent of individuals that claim online over the next 10 years. And really what the big drivers would be are, again, increasing awareness, if that's to the extent that's possible. And also there were a significant percent of retirees that called SSA or went to the field office to get what we considered somewhat basic and straightforward information on what their benefit levels will be and when they're eligible, and information that is contained in other information packets and online already at SSA, maybe not made visible enough or accessible enough, but is kind of available. And so to the extent that SSA can improve awareness and can drive retirees to those basic pieces of information that are already available without having to contact SSA, that could increase retirees completely online usage by about 20%. So that's really where we see the real game changer, is those two elements. Get you from 35% of retirees to almost half of them doing everything online and not having to contact SSA.
Well, I think it's a great goal, great objective, and people should be checking out their options a lot sooner than just, hey, I'm going to retire tomorrow, let's check them out. Part of that is educating yourself now before they retire. JP, we're going to have to leave it there. Really interesting research, great research. And look, we look forward to having you in the center on again very soon.
It's been my pleasure, and thank you for increasing the awareness of Social Security's online tools.
Thanks, JP. Great to see you. Thanks for sharing your perspective. And when we come back, we'll take a look at some of our best segments for the week. You're going to want to stay tuned right here on BRN Weekly. Imagine a new television network that will make you richer, healthier, and in control of your financial future. This network is for the policewoman in Nashville, Tennessee, the baker in Dubuque, Iowa, the teacher in Lexington, Kentucky. We want to make the idea of savings and retirement culturally relevant. But what do you see as a defining issue of the midterms, especially for the smaller businesses? I mean, they are the lifeblood of the American economy. Featuring exclusive interviews, current affairs, and docuseries. 33 years old, you retired early.
The philosophy is money only matters if it helps you live a life that you love.
But you got to start thinking about retirement as soon as you get in.
The Broadcast Retirement Network will drive very high engagement with premium partnerships. So this isn't retirement and savings for your parents or grandparents. This is for all Americans. And we're going to change the way you think about money. Welcome to the next frontier of retirement and savings. This is BRN, the Broadcast Retirement Network.
Are you stuck with a low credit score? A credit report and score that's causing you to be denied credit or pay higher interest rates than others for the same things? Then do what Terrence did and call Credit Repaired for your free credit evaluation to help restore your credit.
I started thinking about buying a new house, and my score wasn't where I needed it to be. I called and spoke with one of the representatives, and we just had a good conversation, and I liked what he was saying.
Just one call for his free credit evaluation was all it took to start back on the track to repairing his credit.
I'm seeing the deletions and I'm getting the report, so I know something's being done. It does make a difference to me.
All it takes is one call to get started.
Credit Repair has given me a second chance to have a better credit score.
Don't let a low credit score hold you back another day. Do what Terrence did and make the call for your free credit evaluation.
Call 800-819-4152. That's 800-819-4152. Again, 800-819-4152.
Welcome back. Earlier this week, we discussed buying real estate in the metaverse. Let's take a look.
It's fascinating. We've seen a couple of multi-million-dollar deals in two of the different metaverses, one of them in Sandbox and one of them in Decentraland. And this is becoming a really hot topic. Obviously, crypto and NFTs and all of that have been, dominating the news last year. But really, this is there's a land grab going on in the different metaverses, because what they're doing is they're grabbing up land so that it can be developed in the metaverse, and then it can be rented out, it can be used for events, it can be resold, just like real estate, except it's in this virtual world, or really multiple virtual worlds. What it really is retail. So some big companies, Gucci, for example, Ralph Lauren, they've been doing different projects inside Roblox and inside that world. And that's just kind of the start of this. So really what a lot of these companies are doing is they are creating retail real estate in the metaverse, because they want to lease this out. They think that different companies will want to own this space or lease this space, come and get people to come in and shop and buy things, because this is really about how do you make money off of this real estate? And most of that is by selling things within the metaverse. It's not just playing games as part of it, but it's also, we're seeing more meetings in the metaverse. We're seeing more workplace events in different metaverses. So that's part of it as well. And it also, it sort of is connected to the idea of NFTs. So a lot of things that are being sold right now are virtual shoes. So Nike recently bought this company called Artifact, which makes these sort of NFT shoes that are wearable within the metaverse. And so we're seeing more of that happening. And there's experiences you can do. So the Ralph Lauren experience, for example, it's a ski adventure. So you can sort of have this like winter wonderland adventure within the metaverse. And it's all very early days on all of this, but what companies are trying to do is they're trying to get ahead of this by buying the land. And the interesting thing to keep in mind on the metaverses is that, like real land, there is a scarcity factor involved. There isn't sort of an endless amount of land available within the different metaverses. I believe it was ProShares recently announced a metaverse ETF. Now, I suspect that metaverse ETF is probably going to be things related to the metaverse. Different stocks, Roblox, for example, probably also Meta. But eventually, I believe there will probably be metaverse REITs. I mean, why not?
And we also discussed how to apply the fresh start effect to achieve New Year's resolutions. Let's take a look.
The fresh start effect ties in a bit with New Year's resolutions. We all make them, we all know them. And when I was writing the article, I did a bit research on it, and the tradition goes in Western culture quite far down. Basically, it goes down to Roman times, and Romans started each new year by making promises to their god Janus. Guess which god January is named after. And they made promises about to their god Janus about the beginnings of the new year. So basically, this is a really long established tradition. And the fresh start effect is, according to behavioral science, like Kathy Milkman from Wharton has a great piece also on it. Basically, the fresh start effect, we use it at certain timelines like the beginning of a new year. And basically, this signals to us a new chapter in our lives. This makes it for us much easier to leave the past mistakes behind in the last year. And we say to ourselves, okay, this year I'm starting with a clean slate, and I'm gonna form new habits like exercising regularly, saving for retirement, or anything else. So basically, at a certain passage of time, it's much easier for us to leave the past in the last year and to really start fresh at day 1, January 1st. I think with the fresh start effect, the key is when making changes, we also need to consider when are we making them. So it's not the same as, I don't know, Wednesday or Monday, the beginning of the week. It's easier, according to research, for us to start at certain temporal landmarks, and it's different in every culture, but to really have this fresh start effect so we can leave the past mistakes behind and start with a clean slate. Because if we're not burdened by the past mistakes, in December you're thinking, oh, I didn't exercise as much as I said I will in the last year, I'm eating everything, I'm still smoking and so on. So it's not a good day to start, 25th of December, January 1st, you say, okay, last year was last year. This year, I really need to exercise more. I need to save more. And what was, let bygones be bygones, how do they say? And I'm going to start today. So when making changes, I think it's important not only how you make them, but when you start. Research found out if you make too high goals for yourself, you will only be disappointed. So they will work negatively. If I say, I will start jogging 5 times a week, it's a bit too optimistic if I didn't go once, But starting smaller, like 2 times, and then increasing it over time seems to work the best, because once we achieve this small goal, we feel positive, we get positive feedback, and then you can step it up. If you say 5 times and don't achieve it, you only feel bad, and that's the downside of big goals, because people only see the people who achieve them, but most people don't, as you said. So it's best to really start small and to then escalate it as you go and get the positive feedback along the way, because we need it. Let's be honest, we all need the positive feedback. We need encouragement from others. So that really helps us. So starting small and then taking it further seems to be the best recipe.
And that wraps up this episode of BRN Weekly. Have a topic of interest, someone you think we should talk to, then drop us a line. And don't forget, for all the information in lifestyle, wellness, finance, tech, so much more, and all in one place, check out today's edition of our daily newsletter, The Morning Pulse. Want to search our archives or check out our latest content? Then visit our streaming partners, Amazon, Roku, Samsung, and over 100 more. We're back again tomorrow with BRN Sunday. I'll be joined by members of the media, academia, and financial services as we analyze the news for the week. Until then, I'm Jeff Snyder. Stay safe, keep on saving, and don't forget, roll with the changes. Now is your opportunity to co-create content around any topic on the first lifestyle and wellness network. Reach a global audience through our platform and co-own exclusive branded content. All of our programs are available on demand and also as audio-only podcasts, so you can take us on the go. Broadcast Retirement Network, available anytime, anywhere, and on any device.
Are you being audited and do you owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes? Is the IRS threatening to take more of your money? Don't fight the IRS alone. The Tax Doctor is here to help you negotiate your tax bill and reduce your stress. The IRS can freeze your assets and seize your bank accounts, but you can stop these IRS actions. The Tax Doctor will work with you using our years of experience to represent your case to help you get the best resolution under the IRS guidelines. Help is here to deal with the IRS to reduce your stress. We've handled thousands of cases, so we know what we're doing. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes, do not call the IRS alone. Call a Tax Doctor now for a tax emergency analysis.
Call 800-224-6439.